How y'all doing? Everybody good? All right, good. We had a couple of holdovers from the first service. Y'all are gluttons for punishment. Man, hey, it's good to be back. We were joking in the first service that, I only come every 2 years because I just kill people and then there's nothing left after that. But he keeps inviting me back, so this is nice. Thank you, sir. More than you know. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's when you have done this for 50 years, when you have seen enough people killed, enough stuff in the places where I go, you have to come to some conclusions of what does it take to make it. And I think that seems to have been the question that was asked of me more last year than any other time. I don't know if it was because of the shooting. Most of you guys know I got shot in Syria last year. We were in this camp. It's only known as Camp 18. That's all I can tell you. But I took a .308 round in the back. I was a Russian sniper. My vest caught it, but bent one of the metal plates, broke 2 ribs, punctured my lung, knocked me to some rocks, fractured my skull. And out of that experience, like a lot of things that I've had to deal with in these 50 years of ministry, you have to come to some conclusions. And today is going to be the result of coming to an understanding, maybe a clearer understanding would be a better way to say it, of what does it take to be steadfast. Because that's a word that I think is misunderstood at a time in at least American history where not a lot of people stay with any one thing. 1,000 preachers a month still quit the ministry. Really? 1,000. How's that possible? Because if we lined them up here and asked them, did God call you into the ministry? They'd swear up and down that God called them. And something happened. They got disappointed, discouraged, disillusioned. You know how I can still do this after 50 years and actually like people? For the most part. I don't want to stretch that too hard. But still. See, that's why I live in the ghetto, because I'm around Christians too much. And it's true. I'm on TV. I do the medical thing. But how is it that you get people that just were convinced at some time that God called them, and then they got disillusioned? See, I never got illusioned. But everybody you on Twitter? Anybody here on Twitter? Yeah, tweet that, you little tweeter. Yeah, put that out there. That was worth you dragging yourself out here. If you don't get illusioned, you can't get disillusioned. That was a bit of a revelation for some of you. So we can line them up and ask them, what happened? I don't know. I think the answers would be as varied as the individuals that we would talk to. But you're telling me that the God who created the heavens and the earth called you, separated you, called you out to go in the ministry, and somebody lied. They lied about me. Really? And you're the only one that anybody has ever, they stole money from me. Yeah, well, take a number. Okay. The God who created the heavens and the earth. Everything else is made in China. But, well, it just is, folks. And yet, somehow, something happened, and they got discouraged, and now they're selling water purifiers, used cars. Where was I? I was in Dallas. I was at DFW, and they were taking me to the La Quinta, the little dopey, what do they call those things? The super shuttle, little blue buses at the, why am I asking you this? I'm just trying to remember. I've had 5 concussions. I'm losing my short-term memory, so I have to ask myself the question, and then I have to answer it, because it's the only way I can do it. Okay. Thank you. Come on. Okay. So they're taking me to the La Quinta, and I'm looking in the rearview mirror at the driver, and I think, I know this guy. I know this guy. So I was the last stop, and I got out of the van, got my suitcase, and I walked around to the driver's side, and then I recognized him. I said, bro, what happened? He used to pastor one of the largest churches in Dallas. I went there probably 30 years ago. Used to be a big supporting church of ours. I said, bro, what happened? He said, you know what happened. And I thought, yeah, I kind of do. I kind of do. So what then does it take for us to be long-distance, steadfast people? Is there a formula? Is there what's another word? Is there something that all by itself, an understanding that could help us? Because if you're interested in being that steadfast person, yeah, it's probably a good thing you're here today. Okay? How many young? Anybody here under 30? Couple? All right, somebody pray for her. Now, most of us, I'm looking up in the cheap seats. How many? No, I think, all right. No, we're good. We're good. So this one, I'm doing 3 different messages today. This message isn't going to be for everybody, because I don't know if everybody would get it. There's certain things that you can talk to young people, and they kind of get it, and then they don't. So I think most of us here today, we'll kind of go with this. So let's see what happens. A couple things at the back table. I apologize if there's nothing there when you get there, because really there's nothing there now. But it's, so the first service kind of bought us out, but there's some things back there. Me and Anita and the team will be back there. The book, Whose Child Is This?, of course, is the story of how Metro has become the largest Sunday school in the world. We're averaging now about 220,000 kids a week in Sunday school. And yeah, you can give God a praise. That's a great place, right about there. So that didn't happen by accident. There's a reason for it. There's some interesting things that are happening all over the world. And I hope that if you're interested in what God can do through ordinary people, that's what this is. The other books, if there's nothing left when you get back there, our books are on, what are they? Anita Kindle, Amazon. You can go to our website and get them. If you're a reader, and I trust all of you are, you're going to be the same person a year from now, except for 2 factors: the people you meet and the books you read. Look at the person next to you, just slap them and say, pay attention, Bubba. Just pay attention. All right. The DVDs, these are R-rated tapes, so you guys know. I don't apologize for that, but these are done by outside companies. They have become taken up with the ministry. They know I live there. I don't live in Manhattan with the sissies. I live in Brooklyn. And this reflects that. These are interviews with people that I live with. I live there. So of all these years I've spent, that's what all this is. So the language, the pictures, these are unedited. They are uncut. So you know that they're not for kids. But if you want to see that side of the ministry, they are there. A lot of the folks from the first service were asking what these little bracelets and necklaces are. These are made by our ladies that live in the garbage dump in the Philippines. They take magazines out of the dump, wet them, and then they cut them up, and they roll them up like this, and beat them together, and this is how we help to support them, and it helps to support the ministry. So if you're wondering what these are, that's how they're made. They're made by our gals down there. There's no set price to these. It's just whatever y'all want to give, but just so you know what those are. And last, give me a close-up. Is it the same guy at the camera? Yeah. What's up? We were kind of struggling in the first service, but I believe he's got the vision here. All right? Get a close-up there, Bubba. All right? These are pictures of the kids that we have committed our lives to. Many of you, when I was here a couple years ago, you sponsored one of the kids, and because of that, it's always a risk for me because I've just seen so much in these places that you don't want to be overly dramatic. But when my mother left me on the street corner in St. Pete, that was 1960, and I sat there for 3 days, and you guys know the only person that stopped was a very ordinary Christian. His own kid was in the hospital dying of leukemia, but he still stopped. Picked me up, got me some food, sent me to a Sunday school camp up by Lakeland, and that's where I gave my life to Christ, and I never looked back. So that's what this is, guys. That's what this is. So that table out there where the pictures are, that's their corner. Like the guy picked me up off the corner, you'll basically, it's the only way I can explain it. You'll have a chance to pick a kid up off of that corner. It's a $33 a month commitment. You can be as involved in their life as you choose to be. I'm taking people to the Philippines with me in March. I do it every March. I never used to take people with me because it was like taking an extra suitcase. Have you ever taken, no, don't be laughing at me. Because when you take people that don't know how to travel, I had one guy, we get to the airport. He goes, Pastor Bill, I forgot my passport. These are the people that I deal with, okay? So when I ask you to pray for me, it's not like I've got an ingrown toenail. I have to deal with Christians. Okay? Pray for me. God help us. But I take people, and I started doing it a couple of years ago. Our place sleeps 50 there in Manila. And so I take 50 people from all over the world. They run with me for a week. You've seen the video. They go with me. We do Sunday school in the cemetery. You've got 1,000 people that live as squatters in the North Cemetery in Manila, in the cemetery. They go with us to the dump, do Sunday school. So if any of you are like serious people, like you really want to do something out of the ordinary, talk to me out there. We got a couple of shots open for this March. But so we're in trying to get all these people together. And this one guy gets stuck. He gets lost in the cemetery. How do you get lost in a cemetery? Turn me down, guys. A little bit too loud. Bring it down. So you'll have a chance to do something. I guess this is the legs. This is the practical side of today, the practical side of Christianity. The reason why I like coming here, I'm old school. I'm really I was raised around the old missionaries, names that most of you probably wouldn't know. But I teach Old Testament in a couple of universities in Europe. And I talk often about the one-way missionaries. When they went to the mission field, instead of taking a suitcase, they would buy a casket. And they would take all of their belongings they were going to take to the field, put it in the casket, tie it up with rope, take it to the field. Because they knew the only way they were coming back from the field was if they themselves came back in the casket. See, you don't hear stuff like that anymore. Am I right, Pastor? You don't hear stories like that. Why is that? Somebody wasn't steadfast. Somebody didn't really believe in reaching the lost. Somebody missed it. That's what I appreciate about this church. Even by the fact of me being here today. It's not like the old days, brother. You know that. People used to have missions conferences. Used to have missionaries in all the time. Doesn't happen anymore. So thank you for believing in missions. Thank you for allowing me to be here. So, if you've ever wondered, does something like this do what it's supposed to do? Ethan, what do we get? Some pictures. Give me that first shot. I think we've got a picture of Annalisa up there. Yeah, the little one feeding her face. I found her just outside the garbage dump when she was, 8 years old. I said, little girl, you need to come to Sunday school. And she's always been like this. She goes, okay. That was it. And she started to come to Sunday school, faithful every week, even in that setting. And it was about a year, because I remember she was 9. Give me the next picture. I took a picture when she was 9. Yeah, I took this picture, and I thought, I'm going to get her a sponsor. I need a good sponsor, because I could see it. She had it. She had that love for God, and I thought, I'm going to get her a good sponsor. So I took that picture, put it in the folders, like you'll see out there. And I was in Oslo, in Norway. And I'm preaching. And I told the story of Annalisa. I said, I need somebody that can care about this little girl. And I went to the back table, and this woman runs out of the auditorium, almost knocks me over. So I want to sponsor Annalisa. Okay, I think we've got a picture. Yeah, that's her. What a great lady. She flew to the Philippines to visit Annalisa. Not a wealthy lady, but somewhere there was that God connection, you know. She prayed for Annalisa every day, just loved her. God's got a plan for you, honey. I'm praying for you. And then it was her Annalisa's 11th birthday, I think. So this lady, the Norwegian, sends a note to Annalisa, says, Annalisa, what do you want for your birthday? Well, then she sends it and goes, oh no. What if she says she wants to go to Disney World? No, I'm in trouble. I can't do that. Annalisa writes back and says, I just want a birthday cake. I've never had a birthday cake. Sponsor goes, good. Give me a shot, Ethan. I think we got to, yeah. So our team there, staff, gets the birthday cake, fixes it up, takes it out there to the dump. The problem is when you live next to the dump and there's cake, it's everybody's birthday. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. We went through about 6 cakes that day. It was everybody's birthday. But so I go now every March, take some folks out there. And last year, give me another picture. I think, yeah, that's Annalisa now. She's 26 now. Come on, give God a praise. Yeah. So she's still got that, just like she was when she was little. And so she does now Sunday school. She teaches Sunday school in the cemetery. So Sunday school's over. She goes, Pastor Bill. She goes, I have to meet you. I have to get you to meet somebody. I said, okay, let's go. So give me the picture of Roblin, little girl in the yellow. Yeah. So this is Roblin. She's 12. She doesn't get to go to school because she has to clean houses to help take care of her family. So Annalisa said, Pastor Bill, I have to sponsor Roblin. Well, I know how much Annalisa makes working with us. I'm going, honey, I don't know. Is that wise? She goes, I have to. I said, you have to, why? And she said, Pastor Bill, if you hadn't found me and I hadn't given my life to Jesus, there's no way I would have made it. She said, I have to do that for Roblin. Now, what you have just seen here in these last couple of minutes is this whole sponsorship program full circle. You get it? Get it? See? It starts with the one, because it always does. And then, so I told him in the first service, there was a business guy last week, sponsored 5 kids, just from his business. He said, this is an investment in these kids. So just out of his business. I don't know who's here. I don't know if this rings your guys' bell or not, but I'll be hanging out at the back table. Will there be any donuts left after this? No, I should have got them. Well, they were there, and I wasn't thinking properly. Okay. But I'm going to hang out by the donuts if they're left. But serious, guys, $33 a month. You can be as involved in the life of the child as you choose to be. And Pastor, again, thank you. Thank you so very, very much. Appreciate it. Take those down, guys. Let me talk to you for a couple minutes. If you got a Bible, you may want to open it up. If you don't have a Bible, just slip over next to a Christian. They'll have one. I'm just saying. I want to walk you through the second installation of our Steadfast series, at least my part of it today. And I'm glad I get to contribute, because if anybody understands what it takes to be steadfast, to stay with something, when I got shot and it knocked me, I'm laying in the desert and I can't put my hand inside my bulletproof vest. I don't know if the thing went through, and the helicopters the Israelis airlifted me out to Jerusalem, to the hospital. And, yeah. And after all of that stuff, how, and the question keeps being asked, Pastor Bill, how do you keep going? How do you keep staying in this? How have you become this steadfast person? Well, I had some millennial ask me that recently, which is a little disturbing for me, because they said, how can you just keep going after all the people you've seen killed and all the stuff? And I almost didn't want to answer, because, it's like teaching a pig how to sing. And you can't do it. And it just annoys the pig. So why would you even do it? And at 70 years old, I have become this cranky, grumpy old man. The very thing I feared the most has come upon me. Remember when you're young, and I used to look at all the old preachers, and they used to be all, and they'd have gravy on their tie? Remember? Now I look at all my ties. Gravy on my tie. That's depressing. But you learn. Some people get it, and some people don't. They just don't. And I made a statement, and I was kind of flippant when I said it. Wait a minute. Okay. But then when I thought about it, I thought, yeah, it's pretty true. I found that there's 5 roads to steadfastness. And I hate it when you get a book, that's got 3 ways to be happy, 5 ways to overcome depression, 6 things to do if you read that book and you're still depressed. And I think at 70, I've learned there's not 3 ways or 4 ways. I get that. But when I said this to this kid, I thought, yeah, there's a little bit of truth to this. So I'm going to walk you down 5 roads today. Some of you may want to take notes on this. Are we recording this? Yes? I can't. What finger? I can't. No, I can't see. It's a thumb. We're good. All right. I couldn't see. I live in Brooklyn, okay? I can't see. All right, we're good. Some of you may want to take some notes here, because it may help you, or you can just get the tape. But the road to longevity, the road to steadfastness. 5 roads. Let's see how far we can go with this. Because, see, this, you all know this is a journey. The whole thing is a journey. But how far you choose to go, really, it's your call. It's your call. It's not his. It's not even the Lord's. Lord, help me. No, shut up. No. You've got this. The end-all, final, authoritative truth. Most of us make our own problems in life because we don't get this. Boy, I'd like to just... It's 10:45. Really? All right. Road number one. Every journey to steadfastness, every journey to get to where it is that you need to go, it starts with road number one. I'm not going to read these texts because we don't have time, because now it's 10:46. So I'm just going to give you some text. You can read it later. But journey number one is actually, perfect illustration is in Luke chapter 24. You know the story. Two men walking home. They thought they knew who Jesus was. It's like some of you here think you know who Jesus is. And some of you go, you get that, swallowed the canary. Look, you talking to me? Yeah, maybe I'm talking to you. Because we think we know a lot of stuff. They thought they knew why Jesus had come. They thought he was going to come to build an earthly kingdom. And if they could get close enough to him when he came into power, they may have a chance to be in the holy men chairs, you know, to be on the board of demons, to be in this little niche of people close to Jesus, doing a little something with Jesus. But then they saw him die. Oh, well, now that doesn't make sense, because they thought they understood what that meant. And the reality is they had no sense at all. Now he's dead. What do we do now? We put all of our money on Jesus, and now he's dead. So now they're walking back home. They're walking on road number one. Oh, what's it? They're on the Emmaus Road. You know the story. They're on the Emmaus Road. Disappointed, dejected, frustrated. And then Jesus shows up in his resurrected body. And they were so disappointed and disillusioned that when Jesus did show up, they didn't even recognize it was him. I wonder how many times Jesus showed up in some form to some of you, and you missed it because you were still calling 1-800-CRYBABY. Looking for somebody to feel sorry for you. I will slap you silly because you need to be slapped. Come on, man. And they were so disappointed. Jesus shows up. They don't get it until when? Till they get to the house. They're all sitting around having some food, and their eyes were opened. See, when they finally had some time to fellowship with Jesus, suddenly they saw him for who he really was. What kind of road is road number one? Oh, the geographical location was the Emmaus Road. But the reality is, it's the road of recognition. That's where your journey to steadfastness always begins, my friends. When you recognize who he really is, not who you think he is, not who somebody told you he was, not who your grandma told you he was. I'm just letting it waft. See, because some of us think, because you've been around church long enough, and some of you look like you've been around church for a while, it's not a bad thing, it's just an observation. But see, when you've been around some long enough, see, that's why people have been around. We learn how to speak church. We know how to speak church. Because for you to be accepted in any institution, you have to learn how to speak the language of the institution, or you'll never be accepted. That's why when people, you come in here, people say, hey. And then you got the greeters. That's not a bad thing, but it's a system that we develop. But then when you don't know what to say in church, you just say, God bless you. God bless you. Because that covers it all. You don't know what to say? God bless you. Then that sounds like you're speaking church. I get it, folks. See, I could make you think I'm the most spiritual guy you've ever met. Because, see, when I got saved at the camp, see, my mother never came back. So they cleaned out a maintenance closet at what is now Suncoast Cathedral in St. Petersburg. Used to be the old First Assembly of God. They cleaned out a maintenance closet. I got a piece of foam rubber. That was my mattress. And I lived in that maintenance closet for 3 years. I was 12 years old. Walked to school. I didn't need a mentor. See, some people need a mentor. Some people need a tormentor. I am your tormentor today. So suck it up, Bubba. And Bubettes, I'm going to push you today. I'm going to push you. I asked him this morning. I said, how tough do you want this today? Because he knows me. I'm being pretty good today. I'm doing okay, right? Not too bad. All right, come on. See, don't talk to me about living by faith. Because every night a different family in the church brought their leftovers to the church. That was my one meal a day. Yeah. So don't talk to me about living by faith. I understand. I've been living by faith since I was 12 years old. So, when you recognize who he really is, and I could stand here and medically break down the physiological implications of what happens in a crucifixion. I have 2 BAs, 1 MA, 1 PhD, and now I'm working on my medical degree. It's not that hard. No, it's not. Have you ever taken a good look at your doctor? Think about it, folks. Think about it. Think about that for just a second. Okay? It's not that hard. Okay? You just got to put in the time. The road of recognition, that's where the whole thing begins. When you recognize who he really is. Once you recognize who he really is, and that it's not about you, your ego is not your amigo, and once that hits you, and you really understand that can help you. Once you understand what he did, who he was, and that reality really connects, you'll find yourself on road number 2. Road number 2 is in the book of Acts, chapter 9. Oh, but you know this story too, because y'all are so smart. Acts chapter 9, where I see this guy on this road. He's riding a donkey. And right in the middle of the road, he gets knocked off his donkey by a bright light. He's laying in the middle of this road. He's blind. You know the story, though, don't you? Yeah, it's Saul, better known as Paul later. The road is the road Damascus. But if the road of Emmaus was the road of recognition, then what kind of road is the Damascus road? It's the road of confrontation. See, once you recognize what he really did and who he really is and was and will be, you will find yourself right in the middle of a Damascus road. He will confront you hard. 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 Why do you think people come to the front, snot on the carpet? I love you. I love you, Lord. And, oh, shut up. Really? And then 6 months later, they're gone. What happened? I'm glad you asked. They recognized who Jesus was, but when the Holy Ghost confronted them with issues in their life that need to be changed, something needs to be readjusted, somebody needs a checkup from the neck up, and they don't want it. So guess what? They out. That's it. I'm out. Yeah, and your journey, pal, that day is over. It's over. Done. George Barna, our resident evangelical statistician, now has categorized one group of people called the de-churched. There's a whole group of people called the de-churched. There are people who used to be in church, but they couldn't cut it. They weren't, my God, they weren't willing to make the changes when the Holy Spirit would confront them. And so, out. Huh. Hey, if I thought knocking some of you off a donkey would help you, I would have rented a donkey. I'm sure I could find a donkey somewheres around here. Bring them in here, put some of them in there, and just see if I could get a response. It wasn't about getting knocked off the donkey. Because do you remember what Paul said when he landed in the middle of the road? A lot of people miss this. What's the first thing he said? Who are you, Lord? He already went road number one. He knew who was dealing with him. He knew who was confronting him. But now the existential question for him and you, what you gonna do? See, I live in the ghetto, folks. I still live there. And I've seen all the bad guys come in on Sunday in the back. They got the little teardrop tattoo. Yeah, everybody's bad. Okay, I got it. And they're all bad until their mother gets killed in a drive-by. Till their kid gets run over by a car. Till the whole family gets burned to death in an apartment fire. And the same bad guys that were at the back being all that, now they're crying their guts out at the altar. They didn't get it the first time. They didn't get it when God was just knocking on the door. What does it take to get your attention? I don't know who's sitting here, but I've done this for 50 years. I'm smart enough to know, as some of you here, you think you're all that in a bag of chips. All right, what's up? What up? Okay. What's it going to take to get your attention? Tough guy? Yeah, then we'll see how tough you really are. See, I've been down this road. I'm not some pinhead just graduated from some Bible school taught by teachers that can't pastor a church. That's why they teach in Bible school. Did I say that? My God. Somebody edit the tape. Pay attention, Northport. Yeah, I'm talking to you. We go from the road of recognition to the road of confrontation. And if you're still rolling, if you allow the Holy Spirit to do in you what He's trying to do, to make the changes required of you, then one day you're going to be minding your own business. Just walking down the road. Just like I was in Amarillo, Texas. I was just pumping gas, minding my own business. And the guy goes, "Is there a doctor here?" I'm a doctor. He said, "Quick, hurry." We run across the parking lot. His wife's having a baby in the back seat of the car. I looked in there. Thought, you know, this isn't what my degree is. This dog ain't going to hunt. But I thought, hey, I'm in it now. Roll up my sleeve. And we were joking in the first service. See, because I just think I can do anything. I've like flown a plane, but I've never had a lesson. No, I've done all kinds of stupid stuff because that's what I do. So I just think I can do anything. And then I went blank. Have you ever thought you had it? And then you realize, I got nothing. I got nothing. I got nothing. And I blanked. I literally rolled up my sleeves and thought, oh man, I got nothing here. And then I thought, well, I've seen American movies. It never really looked that hard. And I remembered in one movie, the guy was just saying, push, breathe, put. That's the formula. That's what you do. I'm good. Push, breathe. I'm yelling at the pregnant chick. Push, breathe. So I see the head come out. I thought, that's a good sign. So we get the baby out, right? I run in the gas station, get a little pair of those scissors from the gas station, cut the cord. I looked like I knew what I was doing. I didn't have a clue. I didn't, nothing. So we get the baby's crying. That's a good thing. Mother's crying. That's a good thing. I'm crying. Thank God nobody died. Because I thought about it later. What were you thinking? It's like the country music song. I knew what I was feeling, but what was I thinking? And I thought, I wasn't thinking. Not even close. So this is what you got up here. This is why I'm only here every 2 years. You're seeing it, folks. You're living it. You're going to be minding your own business, just like I was in Amarillo, Texas. And then all of a sudden, you're thrown in the middle of something. You had no idea that day when you woke up. I didn't know that day when I woke up I was going to be delivering a baby. Really? I wouldn't have woke up. I'd have stayed in bed. A piece of that action. And now it leads us to road 3. It's in Luke chapter 10. Oh, but you know this story too. Here's road number 3. There's a guy beat up, left on the side of the road. You know the story, don't you? Sure you do. I was watching it on Fox. They're asking, why do we always call this the Good Samaritan? Yeah, because this story is the basis for almost a behavioral pattern of certain people that get it. And the guy stops. Story of the Good Samaritan. He stops. Now, the name of the road, it was the Jericho Road. That was the geographical road. But what kind of road is the Jericho Road? If the Emmaus Road is the road of recognition, and the Damascus Road is the road of confrontation, then the Jericho Road has got to be the road of compassion. The one guy stops, you know the story. Not even from the same country, totally different race, stops, takes care of the guy, pays the hospital bill. Hey, anybody that pays the bill? That says a lot right there. That says a lot. And how does that work? I was asked to teach on compassion at one of the universities. They said, can you teach us how to have compassion? Nope. Because compassion cannot be taught, but it can be learned. Let me say that again for the cheap seats. Compassion, guys, cannot be taught. I can teach you a lot of things. I teach university. But compassion cannot be taught. Oh, but it can be learned. See, why do you think I start doing these trips, taking people? Walk with me. Walk with me. Yeah. Watch the kids eat garbage. Go to the cemetery. See, Thomas never understood the resurrection, did he? It was too, what's the word? Abstract, maybe? Good word. It didn't click with Thomas. He couldn't get it until when? Until he touched the wounds in the body of Christ. When you get close enough to touch the wounds in the body of Christ, guess what? Everything changes. Everything becomes real. The whole mindset, the thinking changes. Give me a picture, guys. I think we got Brian. You have a picture, Brian? Yeah. We found this little guy in Kenya. His mother was hardcore heroin addict. When she was pregnant with him, his brain, his skull didn't develop. So when he was born, his brain started growing outside of his head. And I was there on one of the trips I take to Africa every year. And Janine showed, and I said, okay, let's go. See, some of you just missed what I just did right there. I saw it. I touched it. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. Okay? That's why I'm getting my medical degree. Because it's just not enough. And some of you, I don't expect all of you to get what I just said. But, you know, when this is my world, guys. See, when I come here, I step into your world, but this morning, I'm bringing you into mine. You okay with that? You good? See, that means it's right or wrong. It just means we live in two different worlds. The bad thing is I have to go in and out of both. I'm here with normal people. Well, for the most part, with normal folks. But now I'm going, yeah, you know, it's in and out of these two places. And then I show up on Sunday trying to bring what? Both worlds together in a way that makes sense to everybody. And I looked at him, I said, let's go. We got a couple of sponsors, young people. It was in California. They said, Pastor Bill, we want to help Brian. They're millennials. I thought, just shoot me again. I said, guys, this isn't like getting a puppy. Okay, this kid's life is in the balance. They said, we can do it. I said, okay, I don't know how much this operation is going to cost. But I said, it's not going to be cheap. They said, we're on social media. Okay, whatever. Okay, is there anybody here that actually takes pictures of your food and sends it to your friends? Does anybody? Really? What? Why? Does anybody really care what you had for lunch? If your friends do, you need some new friends. You really need some new friends. Come on, Jesus. I said, all right, guys, I'm going to give you 2 months because I got to go. And I'm embarrassed to say they got on this Flipper, Twitter, tweet, instant potatoes or whatever it is that they do. They raised the money. Give me the picture, Ethan, real quick. So we're running out of time. I was there when he had the operation and prayed while I had my guy. Yeah. And he's still in pretty rough shape. But because somebody caught it, they got close enough, they caught it. See, that was just a Sunday morning for them in San Diego. Sunday morning, just like this, same deal. But they heard it, they saw it. I talked to them at the back table. They said, we'll sponsor them. I'm about to throw this chair at somebody. Come on, guys. That's a normal day. You just thought you were coming to church for the stinking donuts. And then something clicks. I'm talking about the road of recognition that leads you to the road of confrontation that then leads you to the road of compassion. And don't ever wonder, guys, don't ever wonder what it takes to be steadfast and makes a difference. But last, road number 4, the last road, found in John chapter 19. What road is this? Oh, that's the Calvary Road. The Calvary Road. What kind of road is the Calvary Road? I think a lot of people think that's probably the road of sacrifice. I get that, and it is. But I believe it's really the road of obedience. Because to obey, it's better than sacrifice. The sacrifice came out of the obedience. Correct? That's how it works. Yeah. So, but I said 5. Did I say 5? I did. You were listening. Thank you. I said 5. Maybe there is 5, now that I think about it. Yeah, I think there is. I probably don't have a chapter and verse for this. So that's your assignment till I come back. You got 2 years to figure this out. Here's your assignment. You find a text to back this one up. Here's road number 5. Would it surprise you if I told you I like poetry? That surprises you. I've actually wrote poetry. Not good poetry, but I've wrote some poetry. And the one poem, and I keep in the Bible, it's from Robert Frost. Some of you will remember it. She got it. Yeah. It's a poem about this guy. He's on a journey like some of you. Look at me. And he comes to the woods, and there's two roads. One appears to be a wider path, kind of well-traveled. And there's another one, apparently a smaller path, less traveled, not marked. If he wants to continue the journey, he has to decide. Listen to me. If you want to continue the journey to steadfastness, to accomplishment, when you get to the woods and you have to make the choice, how? What becomes the composition to make that choice if you want to continue? And if you know the poem, you know how it goes. And the man finally came to the conclusion when he said, I chose the road less traveled. And for me, it made all the difference. See, I worked at a regular church once when I was a kid. It's now Suncoast Cathedral in St. Pete. I actually got to live in kind of a normal place. Not like where I live now. I got to be around good people. Not like where I live now. I didn't have to travel every week to get kids sponsored. If I'd have stayed there, I wouldn't have been shot twice. I wouldn't have been thrown off a building. I wouldn't have been in 3 plane crashes. Yeah, 3. I walked away from 3. Nobody walks away from 3. Nobody. Well, it was 2 walks and a hobble, but that doesn't. I go with the walk. I go with the walk. I wouldn't have had to do that, guys, and you know that. I have to be out every week. We got 40,000 kids right now in Kenya. The government came to us and said, you can have these 40,000 kids. Teach them. Give them. We can't take care of them. I can't do it because I don't have the resources. 40,000, guys, handed to us on a plate. I can't do it. You want to know why I'm like I am? Now, you know why I'm like I am. That's a hard burden to carry when you know it's given to you and you can't do nothing with it. I could have been pretty normal. It's hard for people to believe that. I could have done that. Could have went down that road. But I took a road less traveled. So 220,000 heard the gospel last week. I got an opportunity to do some things. I just found out that the new president of Brazil, his wife's Assembly of God, they're saying, can you come and start Sunday school in Brazil, in Rio, in Sao Paulo, in the favelas, where the cops are killing the kids in the middle of the night, taking them to a hospital and harvesting their organs and selling their heart, lungs, and kidneys on the blood. Come on, folks. That's my world. That's my world. Yeah. So, where does that leave us? I guess that is road number 5. It's the road less traveled. I don't know what steadfastness means to you, but I've walked it out for 50 years. It's been some long roads. Long roads. But it's because of people like you. It's because of churches like this that have allowed us. I'm your missionary. I think I represent you pretty well. I think we do pretty good. I think so. I think so. I think so. But it all started because I recognized who he was. When I was the little poor boy that still has a deformed rib cage here because I had rickets from malnutrition when I was little. It still goes back to that same corner every Christmas Eve. When I recognized who he was. And for that, Father, I can never say thank you enough. Thank you. Thank you, Lord, that you were willing to walk the road of obedience that took you to the cross so that we can sit here today and say, Lord, whatever you need me to do, whatever part you need me to play, Lord, I'm not stopping. I'm staying on the road. I fought a good fight. Finished the course. I'm going to keep the faith. Yeah. Thank you for friends. Thank you for your blood. Thank you for having that man stop and pick me up. Oh, the blood of Jesus washes me. Oh, the blood of Jesus shed for me. What a sacrifice that saved my life. Yes, the blood. It is my victory. God bless you.